Dear colleagues, friends, sales reps, developers, and you, yes you, still trying to log into Jira without swearing. Today, we're not just here to say goodbye to a colleague. No, we are here to say farewell to a legend, an anomaly in time and space, a man whose caffeine levels are officially measured in terawatts. We gather here to say farewell to Henrik. Henrik, that strange, high-functioning life form who once materialized at Structub AB's IT department, cloaked in his signature aura, the scent of freshly ground beans and the low hum of a grinder only he could understand. According to some sources, Henrik was not born in the traditional sense, but rather distilled from an espresso during a thunderstorm sometime in the mid-70s. They say lightning struck a Chemex, and bam, there he was, ready to optimize networks, review logs, and measure brew time with micrometer precision. Since then, he has walked among us, an IT mystic with sourdough under his nails, coffee beans in his pockets, and a running app that measures distance in light years. When Henrik first arrived at Structub AB, it didn't take long for us to realize he wasn't like the others. He brewed coffee in a way that made ordinary mortals feel inadequate. While the rest of us just hit brew and prayed for the best, Henrik approached it like a sacred ritual. Scales, thermometer, water poured from a precise height, and a grinder calibrated to the moon's current tilt. He spoke of blooming, ratios, and extraction time with the same passion a poet uses to describe their first love. And every time someone asked, "Henrik, can you make the coffee?" he would give that familiar look that said, "You don't make coffee, coffee is born." But coffee was only the beginning. For while most people were learning to surf the internet, Henrik started baking sourdough, and not just baking, researching the very soul of dough itself. His starters had names, feeding schedules, and probably their own national ID numbers. He could speak for hours about the moral integrity of different flours and the spiritual nature of gluten networks. And we still remember the day PA, his faithful sidekick in IT, tried to borrow a bit of dough. 3 hours later, PA stood there, wrapped in a full-blown lecture about the enzymatic resonance of living bread. And when Jenny Larson, the only life form known to be able to do what Henrik can't, dared to suggest that his dough looked like a geological accident, he simply replied, "You see bread, I see potential." And then came the beer. Ah, yes, the beer. When Henrik decided to start brewing, he did not take the task lightly. He began as a humble hobbyist and ended as a brewmaster of galactic renown. He measured pH with lasers, cooled the wort using liquid nitrogen, and, according to unverified sources, invented a recipe so perfectly balanced that even Zaphod Beeblebrox once remarked, "It's okay." Henrik's brewery was like his code, logical, efficient, and inexplicably alive. When the Structub IT network went down, one could often hear him muttering, "This calls for a double-hop diagnosis." Oh, but there was more to Henrik than scientific precision and perfectly crafted beverages. There was also the training. While other people talked about starting to run, Henrik actually ran, often in a mild panic to make it to his workout at Friskis and Svettis, where, according to legend, he once performed a lunge so perfect that time itself paused in admiration. Gunnar Hofsten, the photo genius and martial arts master, once trained alongside him, a meeting of two titans. A clash where sweat, laughter, and discipline merged into something that could only be described as technical perfectionism in motion. And then the humor. That dry, salt-sprinkled, Gothenburg-born humor that could stop the universe in its tracks. Jenny Uphoff will forever miss those moments when Henrik leaned against the doorframe and dropped a pun so dry that the Sahara suddenly felt like an indoor swimming pool. Once, he reportedly said, "I'm brewing my coffee with seawater today, so I can get some Havre." Note, Havre means oats and also sounds like have sea. It took 3 full minutes before anyone dared to react. And then there's Christopher, who now, according to himself, lies awake at night worrying about taking over the monitoring scripts. But we all know he's sleeping soundly, Because Henrik hasn't just left behind code. He's left behind manuals, comments, and a fully mapped-out galactic chart of logic itself. Possibly even a few hidden reminders in the form of error messages that say, "This would never have happened on my watch." And somewhere in all of this, between the brewing, the coding, and the gluten activation, there's me, support manager, direct supervisor, and tonight's narrator. A man with the thankless yet honorable task of summarizing a career that defies the laws of nature. A career that makes the CEO nod respectfully. The sales team ask if Henrik could brew coffee for the next client meeting, and the developers whisper,
"We'll never find anyone who comments code that poetically again."
So what do you say? How do you say goodbye to someone who leaves a hole in the system big enough to crash Jira itself? You start with the simple truths. Henrik, you've been the kind of colleague who turns ordinary days into epic footnotes in company history. You've made us think, laugh, drink better coffee, run a little farther, and sometimes pause to wonder, what on earth did he mean by that? From all of us at Structure AB, management, sales, IT, development, warehouse, and everyone in between, we just want to say thank you for the humor, for the precision, for the passion, for proving that even in a world of scripts, bugs, and deadlines, there's always room for a perfectly brewed moment. And now, you're leaving us. Leaving Earth, or at least Structure's earthly plane, to return to that distant galaxy where all systems run flawlessly, all beans are ground to perfection, and every sourdough rises in eternal harmony. So from all of us at Structure, farewell, Henrik. And as the dolphins once said when they left Earth for good, so long and thanks for all the coffee.